All right, welcome back to another School Principal Reacts. This is Brandon coming to you with a reaction that was kind of last minute, but a couple of Discord members recommended it to me, and I'm going to try out this little wireless mic at the same time. This is from Wired Magazine. They do a lot of really neat videos where they'll take an expert in a particular field and do a support video, they call it, of them answering questions from the internet. So this one is teacher support. It came out about a week ago as of the filming of this video, and I'm super interested to see what this particular teacher has to say. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, take a minute and subscribe. I really appreciate it, but let's get into this video.
I'm sitting in front of a room full of people, and I'm going to ask them to give me their cell phones. So if you would, please, come up, trick or treat, give me your cell phones. This is going to be hard for them. Paul, I think I don't have your cell phone. Hi, everybody. I'm Leslie Fox.
I can tell this is going to be good already. Oh, man.
I'm a math teacher. I'm here to answer your questions. This is teacher support.
Teacher support. Here we go.
First question. This is from Jacob Ann 0808. Do teachers secretly have favorites? Am I allowed to answer that? The answer is yes. Here's the thing.
Yeah, and I'm curious to what she says. We're all human, and it's tough not to do that. The key is your actions need to be fair and treating everybody with consistency. Let's see how she answers this.
Our favorites are the ones that come to us. It's not like I'm going to look around the room and say, oh my God, you're my favorite.
Yeah.
It's the ones that come in and ask the questions, and then they start sharing stuff with you. Yes, those are my favorites. Okay, I have favorites. Are people going to watch this? Okay, because I don't know that I want my students to know. From Hopper Lover 40. Should we ban phones from schools? Obviously, yes, we should ban phones from schools. Where I work, they banned phones for the first time this year. You cannot have a cell phone on your body. For the first 4 to 6 weeks, kids were hiding it. We had to remove them. So if we saw a kid hiding in the bathroom, I'm not kidding you, behind a door, scrolling through their phone, I had to take it. If they were in their back pocket, I had to confiscate it. If it was on their desk, I had to take it. And they would get it back at the end of the year. At the end of the day.
The year.
To them, it felt like the end of the
I was about to say, that would be a little harsh. So a lot of schools do this now. Saying that you can't have it anywhere on your body, that's a little far. Schools that I have worked with or dealt with, typically they don't allow it in class. And I've mentioned that some schools do ban them entirely, and others just say, okay, you can only use it at this time or in this place. Apparently her school, you can't even have it on you, which there's a whole debate about that. A lot of states, including my own state, recently passed laws that prohibit use of phones during school hours between kindergarten and 8th grade, which I can sort of understand. High school tends to be a little bit more lenient on those things. And I don't know what this teacher teaches or what grade level. Maybe she'll say during the course of the video, but I can tell she's a teacher for sure, just based on the way she's talking. Let's keep going.
year. Let me tell you what happened. Kids started doing crossword puzzles. Kids started asking for board games. Kids started talking to each other.
Yeah.
They even forgot that they had cell phones, and it was like going to school in the 80s. The next question.
Yeah, and there's a debate on how good that is. There's a lot of things that you can do with phones in class instructionally. So some school districts have said, we're going to allow phones. They're going to be here no matter what. So let's use it to our advantage and have students learn using their phones, meaning like interactive quiz games and stuff like that, that you can use your phone on in order to have quizzes in class. There's a bunch of competitive quiz games out there, but other districts take the opposite approach. So there is something to be said by limiting technology use, I think. I don't know if outright banning it is always the best answer, but it's funny how here in the US, you get so many different approaches to this in different school districts.
Question is from Old Wooden Sweater. Why can't teachers just not assign homework? I agree with that. You know, I do think there are some teachers that like to assign homework just kind of for the sake of assigning it for busy work. I'm not really sure why. I don't know that it actually helps them because then they get into the mind frame of let's just get it done. Let's just get it done. Especially if you're a teacher that's grading homework, the kid is not really learning it, like as we nerds like to say, like really internalizing it. I think assign classwork. And then before the kid leaves class, you're checking that. That is what is going to get a kid to do their work. When they go home, they can just use AI.
Yeah, and I agree with her here. Like, homework is becoming more and more phased out. A lot of schools just tell teachers don't assign homework, or if you do, make it okay. If you didn't finish this particular item in class, then you have to do it at home. It's been shown it's not quite as effective as we'd like to believe.
Homework teacher. But you're going to be working in my class. Don't worry. Totally agree with you. Old wooden sweater. From Reddit teachers. Are most teachers nerds? Yes, we are all nerds. We like talking about math all day, every day. So nerdy, even our tattoos show what we do. So here's my pie tattoo, and my dog's name is Pie. Everything in my life has to do with math. And things that don't have to do with math aren't really that important in my life.
Yeah, I don't know if most teachers take it to that extreme, but I mean, I have to agree with her most of that.
Yes, we are nerds. This one comes from Herp Derby Doo. Okay, teacher Reddit. What really goes on in the teacher's lounge? But what goes on in the teacher's lounge is we are prepping for our classes. It's a little bit boring if I'm being honest. We're doing Xeroxes. We are stuffing our faces with food, but every once in a while, we will talk about our own high school experiences and all the things that we don't want you to do.
Yeah, I would have to say that's true. There is a lot of work that goes on in the teacher's lounge. A lot of schools call them workrooms now and not teacher's lounge, because I remember as a student thinking, oh, it's a lounge. They're just all hanging out in there and having a party. I think there was an episode or two of Ned's Declassified, which was like that. But no, she's right. It's just teachers working, teachers eating lunch, teachers chatting with each other about what's happening. I have heard a little bit of gossiping at the same time, but having conversations and enjoying their time at lunch.
Talk about the stuff that we do that we don't want our students to know. The truth is, teachers are just big kids dressed up like adults.
Sometimes.
Adults stuck in high school. Sometimes we gossip about students. Sometimes we gossip about other teachers. Sometimes we gossip about administrators. And then we gossip about our families. Yes, we gossip. Are you?
Yeah, and that is true. I will say, even though you gossip, and I have eaten with teachers many times, I actually made it a point to eat with teachers as much as I possibly could and hang out with them and talk along with them. I won't say gossip, but have conversations with them. And there is gossip that goes on. Now, you're still in school and there's still an air of professionalism that happens. You can't just talk any old way about any old subject. However, teachers do tend to loosen up a little bit in those conversations for sure.
Kidding me? Of course we gossip. We do all the things that you guys do. Okay, next question is from Alex the Sage. Teachers and principals of Reddit. Why do schools not teach things like how to cook, clean, or do taxes?
Not in the standards?
Yes. Yes, Alex the Sage. I totally agree. We do not teach our kids life skills. Why? I have no idea.
Yeah, and a lot of people agree with that. I agree that some of the things that are often referred to in this context are important. A lot of us are limited by the course standards that you have to go by and time, honestly, a time that you're expected to go through those course standards. I want to see what she says next here.
You need to learn how to do taxes. You need to learn, this is a really kind of a morbid one, but when one of your parents dies, you need to learn how to deal with all that stuff.
Yeah.
You do need to learn how to cook. You do need to learn how to clean, how to keep a house, how to pay your bills. I mean, there are all these things we don't teach you. But instead, let me teach you the calculus. I don't know why we don't, but yes, we should have a class like that. I'm really sorry we have failed you.
And honestly, a lot of schools are fixing that. There are different avenues of doing what we call soft skills, which she calls life skills. Basically, the same kind of stuff, making students more employable when they get out of school. A lot of courses now here in Georgia have what we call employability skills standards embedded in the course, particularly for career technical and agricultural education. You have those in there. So I think that's changing a little bit, but she does have a point, or that user does have a point.
Okay, the next question is from Sweatshirt Cigarette. If I can pass your class with AI, the problem isn't AI, it's your class. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yes. If you can pass my class with AI exclusively, then I haven't made the assignments
True.
AI appropriate. I use AI in my classroom, and I recommend all teachers use AI.
Appropriately.
So just let me give you an example. So if I make a bunch of questions up for my kids, and I say, okay, answer these questions, and then they answer them, and they're like, oh, can we have some more questions? And I say, I want you to write them, have AI answer them, and find the mistakes that AI makes.
There you go.
Ask AI for questions, see if you can answer it, and check it. So yes, AI is a helpful tool. It's going to be everywhere, and as teachers, we expect that you know how to use it and that you do use it. So I hope you can pass my class with AI. To check
Yeah, that's actually really good. I like that. I haven't heard of that particular approach before, but I like it. It's pretty good.
to see if kids use AI to cheat. First of all, kids don't have computers in the class anymore. There's not really a way to cheat with AI in class because you are doing your work with a piece of paper and a pencil from the olden days. So if
Olden
a kid
days.
is using AI at home, like to complete their homework, that's fine. That's on you. I don't even grade your homework. So if you're going to have AI complete all your homework, that's fine. When it comes time for the test, you might not be able to answer the questions. I don't
Yeah, and by the way, teachers that I know that do assign homework may or may not grade it. You may be thinking, well, why wouldn't you grade it? The point is the learning, right? So I've talked about this a lot on the channel. It's not necessarily the grade that you get that you should be striving for, but it's the learning itself. And a lot of teachers do assign homework for like extra practice. Like if you're having trouble with a particular concept, especially in math, here's some extra practice problems. And yeah, if you ask AI to do it for you, when it comes time for the test, it's not really going to help you at all.
even collect homework. It's obsolete. The next question is from the couch potato. How much do high school grades really matter? Oh my God. Okay. High school grades depends on what you want to do. If you want to go to
Yeah.
college and you want to get into a competitive college, that's what they look at. They look at your
True.
grades. I'm curious though, how much do you learn if you get good grades? I think that high school grades are a reflection of how much someone wanted to do well rather than how intellectual you are and how much you're learning. I think that kids that get good grades are all about looking at their future of like, where am I going to go to college? And then what? You go to graduate school? I mean, the real thing is, what do you want to do with your life? In the
True.
end, high school grades don't actually matter all that much. But what might matter is doing something you love, finding a hobby that you love, because that's going to be what your life is. I'm sitting in a room with probably 8 people here that are all doing what they love. And if I asked them a question, what was your GPA? They probably wouldn't even remember. I don't even care what college they go to, but look at what they're doing now. That's what I want kids to do in high school. Find what your passion is. It actually has nothing to do with your grades.
And I know what she's saying here, that grades, I think a better way to say it is grades shouldn't matter quite as much as they do. It's the learning. It's the learning that matters. And she's right. She's right about that, about finding things you like and hobbies and passions. Those do matter more than grades in a sense. I don't think it's true to say that they don't matter because they really do. I mean, if you exit high school, really, no matter what you do, whoever you're dealing with after that is going to want to know. Number one, did you graduate high school? Did you graduate with honors? What did you do in high school? And what kind of grades did you get? What was your GPA? And yes, I can remember what my GPA was. Not that it's all that important, but I did have to use it a lot. Every single application for various scholarships and various college applications. And even now, I have to put down what my college GPA was for my bachelor's degree, for my master's degree, for my specialist degree. I have to put that GPA down because different job applications and different things online ask for that, unfortunately.
From JJ5 the Human, what's the most creative way you've seen someone cheat in an exam or test? Okay, this is actually a really good one. It's funny. So a kid had a cup, like one of these cups. Imagine it empty. And it was a styrofoam cup. They had it filled with all these formulas. And so the kid is pretending to drink, taking their test like this.
It's pretty good.
I looked over and I said, "What's happening over there?" So I had to take his cup away. This is from
So I haven't had that happen, although that's pretty good. A student, when I was in high school, we had the TI-82 or TI-83 calculators, and he wrote a program where the screen to the calculator would appear blank. But if you pressed this particular button on the calculator, he was running a program, and if you pressed this one button really fast, it would make whatever he wanted to be on the screen pop up. But then if you stopped pressing it, it would disappear. And if you're watching this, you know who you are, but probably not. But let's keep going.
Murphy's Mom 08. Teaching is the best or worst job ever. And either way, you're not wrong. 100% agree. It is the best job because you get June, July, and August off. No, it is the best job because you get to be with kids. It is the worst job because you're paid peanuts for your work. And there are 100 things in between, but it really is a lovely career.
Yeah, I agree with her. And yeah, the pay, I mean, I do agree that teachers should be paid more. And some are, some really are. I've said many times on this channel, it really depends on where you're located. So there are some places that they just pay more. They know that they can get better teachers if they pay more, so they do that. Other places are not quite able to do that. So she's right here. And with teachers getting June and July off, I don't know if she said August or not, but June and July, teachers do typically get those off, and they do get paid for those. What typically happens is you have your annual salary, and your school district will divide that into 12 months, so you're still getting paid during those months that you're off.
This is from Reddit, SAT. Would you say the SAT is an intelligence test? SAT is supposed to test how well you're going to achieve in the future in a college. Completely disagree with that. But if you have the funds, you can study for that test, spend a lot of money,
True.
and figure out what kind of questions and do really well on it. If you have a calculator, these are over $100, and you can buy this. That will help you immensely on the test. However, it is not an intelligence test. Let's remember that there are all different types of intelligence. There's creative intelligence.
True.
There's emotional intelligence. There's artistic. It just tests how well you can learn to take a test. And depending on the content that's on it, I can write an SAT test that has nothing to do with math and English, and then somebody will pass it with flying colors, but the person who studied for the standardized SAT test will do horribly. So is it a test for intelligence? No, not even a little. I think something that would be better than an SAT test would be how can you have a conversation with someone in real life? How can you do what you love in a way that makes you feel happy? That's the real intelligence test.
Yeah, I agree with her probably 50-50. I don't agree that it's just about how well you take a test, because there's content on there. And if you're great at taking tests and you don't know that content, you're just not going to do well. On the other hand, there are people that aren't so great at taking tests, but if they really just nail the content, they're going to do okay. Now, I think what she's saying here is that that she's very anti-standardized tests, which I get. I understand that. I'm not crazy about them either. Standardized tests exist because they are standardized. You're comparing apples to apples. So in a situation like maybe applying to college, where the colleges want to compare you to other students across the country, that's really one of the only ways to do it, because grades are very, very subjective and it's hard to compare one to the other. But something like the SAT, you definitely can. Now, I agree that it shouldn't be placed on the pedestal that it is, and there are other very valuable assessments of someone's intelligence out there. And I agree with her that it's not necessarily intelligence, but it does test things beyond just the ability to take a test well, such as the math and reading and literacy skills that exist on that assessment.
Edward Bliss says, Do teachers still roll out that TV on wheels if they don't feel like
Hope
teaching
not.
for an hour?
Hope not.
So for those of you that don't remember, if teachers didn't feel like teaching, they would literally roll out a TV set
boy.
and put it in front of the class and say, okay, class, we're going to watch a movie today. And all the kids would fall asleep. No, we don't even have TVs in the classrooms
Yeah.
anymore. But we do have calculators that project. And the answer is yes. When we don't feel like teaching, we will show a movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't admit that. I would not admit that. And thankfully, she said we don't even have TVs anymore. I'll listen to how she finishes this before I respond. Hopefully, she goes in a different direction. I like her okay so far. She has a way of going in one direction, but then twisting and going into another direction, which makes the video a little more interesting. And I can see now I'm probably going to have to break this into a couple of parts, but let's see how she finishes this one.
Yes, there are times when we don't get to do our homework or prepare a class. So yes, we do roll out the TV, so to speak. However, it's a little bit different now. We often take a vote by the class of what show do you want to watch? Let's see, what did I do last? I think we did Love on the Spectrum. Yes, my kids watched Love on the Spectrum one day. We all didn't want to do work, and we watched it, and then we discussed it. So it was actually a fun day, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if her principal is going to see this, but probably not the best idea. Now, does that mean you can't use films within your instruction? Of course you can, but they have to be tied to your course standards. And I like that she had a discussion after, I guess, but she didn't say it was to teach my content or teach my students something. She said we all didn't feel like doing work. That's not going to fly. And I suspect in her real life day-to-day teaching, it wouldn't fly at her school. Again, you can use film, you can use video, but you still have to teach your course standards. You can't just, I don't feel like teaching, so I'm going to wheel this out, or whatever she said here.
So the next question is from Ball Swinging Maniac. How much of an expert are you really within the subject you teach? That's the only thing I'm an expert in, only in high school math. If you ask me to do history, I will look at you and say, I have no clue. If you want to ask me about elementary school math, I won't even be able to help you. If you want to ask me even about college math, won't even be able to help you. High school math? I'm your gal. And I do have kids challenge me, and I love when they do, because you have kids that will ask you questions beyond it. And so I have to look at them and say,
True.
I don't know the answer to that, but I will get back to you. And then I have to go to my gurus and ask them, I had this kid ask me this great question, and I don't know the answer. So I am always learning. That is a true thing. You are always learning, because the kids will challenge you and ask you stuff outside of my little slight field of knowledge that I know.
That is true. There's some truth to that. A lot of high school teachers, which she said she's a high school teacher, a lot of high school teachers have a lot of depth of knowledge in their particular field, but not so much in other fields. Whereas if you teach elementary or middle school, it's more like I know a little bit about everything. So I definitely understand where she's coming from here.
This is from Blobby the Blobfish 2. Teachers of Reddit, what is the funniest excuse for being late, not doing homework, etc. you've ever heard from a student? Okay, by the way, this does happen, and the stories that the kids make up, the ones that are so good, I think are actually true. I'm not kidding you. I have had kids say, my dog has eaten my homework, and I actually believe them because I have a dog. The dogs do eat your homework, particularly.
You know, I've never heard that in real life except one time, and it was actually true. This person's dog did, I don't know if it ate the homework, but it did chew it up and kind of tear it up. So I have heard that once in real life, and it was actually true.
The kids who have two homes, some of them from divorce, some of them because of they have two homes that's left in one home, and then their car broke down, and then they couldn't get to the home to get the homework, but then they're going to have someone deliver it for them. I don't even care about the homework. I don't even grade the homework. You don't even have to turn the homework in. But then I'll have kids that are constantly late, and it becomes a class joke. It's no longer like, oh my gosh, Susie's late again. It's like, wait, Susie, you're on time. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be late. There's often no reason. And they're like, oh yeah, I was at my locker. And then I'll often see Susie in the hallway, like kind of staring into space. I'm like, Susie, don't you have class? Oh yeah, I think I do have class. Like they just forget.
I have known students like that, and unfortunately, you do have kids that are perpetually late. But you don't encourage that, of course. You try and help them to be in class on time. Attendance is a real issue for most schools, and that we have to do everything we can really to get students to attend class and on time. Yes.
Get some of them that are late are always going to be late, but it doesn't matter in the end because there are these people that are doing wonderful things in life. So if you're late, you're late. Like, it's okay. It's not gonna whatever. Okay, this is from
I disagree with her on this one, actually. And I know a lot of teachers who would disagree with this because you have to think like she in this video has talked about how life skills and things beyond just the core knowledge or the core standards are very important. And I agree with her on that. But that includes punctuality because we teach a lot of employability skills and life skills, like she was talking about. And if you have the attitude that it doesn't matter if you're late, that's going to teach that student that it doesn't matter if you're late in other situations, like when they get a job or start a business or whatever. I disagree with her on this one.
the homeschooling subreddit. How do you create a curriculum? Oh, it's a good question. Okay, I think what the question means, because you don't create curriculum. You
Yeah.
are mandated by the state to cover certain curriculum. Algebra is algebra. You have to get through, quadratic equations and factoring and line with slope and y-intercept. I think maybe what the question is asking is how do you create pedagogy or how you teach the curriculum?
Yeah.
So this is the fun part about teaching. So I take professional development classes and you learn all different modalities because everybody learns in a different way.
True.
Some kids are visual and they want to learn.
Yeah, and if you've seen my reaction video to My Little Pony, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, you know what I'm talking about here. And she's correct here.
And see the graph on their calculator. Some kids are auditory, and so you have to talk it out with them.
Yep.
Some kids are kinesthetic, so they have to actually do it. You just keep practicing, and you go and visit other teachers, and you take professional development, and you try something, and you fail, and you try something again, and it works. And something that works with one kid will fail with another kid. So it's continually trying and doing different iterations. Okay.
Yep, I totally agree. And she talked about observing other teachers, known as peer observations. That's what we do quite often in education. This is going on for a little long, so I'm going to actually pause here and take a break and end the video here. I will react to the rest of it, but maybe not today. I hope you enjoyed this. I do plan to do the rest of this, teachers answering of questions. You can tell she's a teacher, can't you? So I agree with most of what she said. There's a few things that I don't quite agree with, but that's okay. That is okay. Most of what she said, in my opinion, is 100% accurate. Not everything, but some things I definitely agree with her on. You can tell she likes her job, and education is very rewarding. There are some pitfalls to it, of course. But it is very rewarding, has been for me as well. I'm going to end the video here. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. This one was a little different, but I'm going to go ahead and end it. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and I'll see you on the next one here on School Principal Reacts. Thanks for watching.